In the quiet village of Sokode, Togo, where palm trees swayed under the weight of the evening breeze, stood the opulent estate of Mr. Kojo Mensah, a billionaire whose influence stretched far beyond the village's borders. His wealth was legendary, his connections ironclad, and his name carried the weight of reverence and fear. But above all else, Mr. Mensah cherished his only son, Kofi, a young man whose charm and privilege made him the envy of every villager. Kofi, raised in a world of private tutors and chauffeured cars, was the center of his father's universe. Mr. Mensah ensured Kofi's every whim was met, from imported sneakers to lavish parties. Yet, beneath the polished surface, Kofi was restless. The mansion, with its marble floors and gold-trimmed chandeliers, felt like a prison. Friends were vetted, outings monitored, and freedom a distant dream. Boredom gnawed at him, and in that boredom, a dangerous spark ignited. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Kofi stood on the balcony overlooking the estate's sprawling grounds. His eyes landed on a new figure at the gate, a young woman named Oma, the latest addition to the security team. Unlike the other guards, Oma was sharp, confident, and carried herself with quiet strength. Her dark eyes scanned the perimeter with precision, her uniform neatly pressed. Kofi's lips curled into a sly grin. Well, this could be fun, he murmured, already plotting his next move. The next morning, Kofi wandered toward the gate, feigning interest in the hibiscus bushes. Oma was checking the security panel when his shadow fell across her. "Good morning," he said, his voice smooth as silk. Oma glanced up, her expression neutral. "Good morning, sir," she replied, returning to her work. "Do you know who I am?" Kofi asked, leaning casually against the gate. "Yes, sir. You're Kofi, Mr. Mensah's son." Her tone was polite but distant. He smirked. "And you're Oma? New here, right? I like your name. It's strong." Oma gave a curt nod, her focus unwavering. But Kofi was undeterred. Over the next few weeks, he made a point of crossing her path, asking about her duties, offering her bottled water, or commenting on the weather. Each time, Oma remained professional, her responses clipped, her boundaries firm. One evening, as Oma secured the main gate, Kofi approached, his tone bolder. "You ever get tired of this job? Standing out here, watching nothing happen?" "It's honest work," Oma said, not meeting his gaze. He stepped closer, too close. "You don't have to be so serious, Oma. I could make things more interesting for you." Her eyes flicked to his, hard and unyielding. "Sir, I'm here to do my job. Nothing else." Kofi's smile tightened. "You sure about that?" "I always get what I want." Oma's jaw clenched. "Not this time," she said, turning away. His eyes darkened, but he said nothing. The game, as he saw it, had just taken a sharper turn. The following night, a scream tore through the mansion. "Father! Father, help!" Mr. Mensah bolted from his office, heart pounding, to find Kofi at the foot of the grand staircase, his shirt torn, his face a mask of distress. "What happened?" Mr. Mensah demanded, gripping his son's shoulders. Kofi's voice trembled. "It was Oma. She tried to force herself on me. I told her to stop, but she wouldn't." Mr. Mensah's face twisted with fury. "Where is she?" Before Kofi could answer, two guards dragged Oma from the security post, her eyes wide with shock. "I didn't do anything," she cried, struggling against their grip. "Sir, please, I swear." "You dare lie." Mr. Mensah roared. "You touched my son?" "I didn't." Oma's voice cracked, but her plea fell on deaf ears. "Call the police," Mr. Mensah ordered. Within minutes, officers arrived, and Oma was handcuffed, her protest drowned by the chaos. As she was shoved into a police van, the household staff watched in stunned silence, some whispering, others turning away. Oma's world collapsed in an instant. Later that night, Mr. Mensah sat in his study, a glass of whiskey untouched on his desk. Oma had been diligent, respectful, never a hint of trouble. Something didn't sit right. Then he remembered the estate surveillance system, cameras covering every corner. His hands trembled slightly as he opened his laptop and accessed the footage. What he saw made his blood run cold. Kofi, lingering too long near Oma, leaning in, smirking as she stepped back, visibly uncomfortable. Clip after clip showed the same pattern, Kofi pursuing, Oma retreating. The night of the alleged incident, Kofi was seen near the security post, his movements deliberate, his shirt already torn before he screamed. Mr. Mensah summoned Kofi. "Tell me the truth," he said, his voice low and dangerous. "What really happened?" Kofi's bravado faltered. I told you, father. Don't lie." Mr. Mensah slammed the desk, the laptop screen glowing with damning evidence. "I saw the footage." Kofi's shoulders sagged. "I was bored, okay. I wanted her attention. She kept ignoring me, so I made it up. I didn't think it would go this far." Mr. Mensah's face was stone. "You ruined her life because she rejected you." Kofi looked away, guilt flickering in his eyes. "I'm sorry." "Sorry." Mr. Mensah's voice shook. "If this gets out, our name, our legacy, everything will be destroyed." We say nothing. The trial goes on. Kofi nodded, the weight of his father's decision sinking in. The trial gripped Sokoud, with reporters and villagers crowding the courthouse. Oma sat at the defense table, her face hollow, her hands cuffed. Across from her, Kofi played the victim flawlessly, his voice soft, his eyes downcast. "She grabbed me," he told the court, his tone breaking just enough to seem genuine. "I tried to push her away, but she wouldn't stop." The room gasped. Mr. Mensah sat stoically, his hand on Kofi's shoulder. Oma's lawyer fought hard, but the evidence was thin, Kofi's word against hers, backed by his father's influence. After hours of testimony, the judge delivered the verdict. "Guilty," he declared. Oma's heart shattered as she was sentenced to prison. The gavel fell, and she was led away, the crowd's whispers like knives in her back. Months passed in the dim confines of Oma's cell. Hope faded with each day. Then, one afternoon, a guard called her to the visitation room. There sat ESI, her childhood friend, eyes fierce with determination. "I know you didn't do it," ESI said, her voice steady. "I'm going to prove it." Oma shook her head. "It's too late, ESI. No one will listen." "I will," ESI replied. "I find the truth, Oma." "Hold on." For the first time in months, a spark of hope flickered in Oma's heart. A year later, ESI saw an opening, a cleaning job at the Mensah estate. She applied, her heart racing. If she could get inside, she might find evidence to free Oma. She was hired and began work, keeping her head down but her eyes sharp. One night, while cleaning near Mr. Mensah's study, ESI noticed the door ajar. Heart pounding, she slipped inside and found the surveillance system's computer. She navigated to the backup files and played the footage. There it was, Kofi pursuing Oma, her discomfort clear, and the moment he tore his own shirt before running to the house, screaming. ESI's hands shook as she copied the files to a USB drive. Just as the transfer finished, she knocked over a glass figurine, shattering it. Footsteps approached. Kofi appeared in the doorway, eyes narrowing. "What are you doing here?" "Cleaning," ESI said, holding up a rag, her heart hammering. Kofi's gaze flicked to the computer. Give me that USB. ESI clutched it tightly. One step closer, and this goes to the police. Kofi lunged, but ESI dodged, sprinting toward the door. A guard blocked her path, grabbing her arm. Kofi snatched the USB and smashed it, smacking. You've got nothing now. ESI smiled grimly. You think I didn't back it up? Sirens wailed outside. Police stormed the mansion, arresting Kofi and Mr. Mensah for obstruction of justice and false accusation. ESI had sent the footage to her brother, a local officer, the moment she found it. In court, the footage played, unraveling Kofi's lie. The judge overturned Omar's conviction, sentencing Kofi and Mr. Mensah to prison and ordering them to pay Omar 10 million CFA francs in damages. Kofi sobbed, but Mr. Mensah remained silent, his empire crumbling. Outside the courthouse, Omar stepped into the sunlight, free at last. ESI waited for her, and they embraced. You saved me, Omar whispered. I just did what was right, ESI replied. Weeks later, Omar's ex-fiancée, Kwame, appeared at her door, begging forgiveness. I shouldn't have doubted you, he said. Omar looked at him, then at ESI, who stood by her side. You left when I needed you most, she said calmly. ESI didn't. I've moved on. Kwame walked away, his regret heavy in the air. Omar turned to ESI, taking her hand. Thank you for believing in me. Always, ESI said, smiling. Thank you for watching. Let's keep growing and keep learning. That's another story told and another step closer. Subscribe and be part of the journey.